A woman hasn't raced in Formula One for 43 years.
18 women compete in 6 races across Europe.
A new generation of women drivers are determined to take on the men at their own game.
It's time for women's motorsport.
We want the best to go into Formula One in future years.
You will find out those who think they've got the commitment and those who truly have the commitment.
Welcome to W Series.
And she spun around. Huge crash there.
Successful drivers don't have to be male.
Jamie Chadwick, Mike Vincent, Marta Garcia, Emma Kimalainen.
There's a racing superstar within the ranks.
If W Series doesn't succeed, we would have let down a whole generation.
Six races, 20 drivers. W Series has had an unforgettable first season.
Jamie Chadwick wins the first W Series race. Mike Vincent takes the win in Zolder.
Yeah, well done.
Pretty much perfect race.
There have been moments of magic.
Emma Kimalainen becomes the 4th different winner in W Series.
And moments of mayhem.
She was doing so well. Huge crash there. Alice Powell.
New talent has emerged.
The young Spaniard Marta Garcia is going to take the win in W Series.
But it all comes down to 2.
Jamie is very controlled, and I think that makes her a very good racer.
Jamie Chadwick, the first double winner of W Series.
Yeah, come on.
Boyski's brilliant. She's fiercely competitive, really very quick.
Now one final race will determine who becomes the world's first W Series champion.
It's quite nice knowing that it's now narrowed it down just between the 2 of us. I feel like I've got the edge on her points-wise, but obviously anything can happen.
We get along quite well off track, but again, once the helmet goes on, it's a different story.
Jamie knows it's her championship to lose. A podium finish guarantees her the title. But if she doesn't make the top 3 and Beitska wins, she'll be denied the perfect end to an incredible year. A year that's seen the 21-year-old chosen as a development driver for the Williams Formula One team.
Getting a sort of association or partnership with an F1 team is the first step to actually becoming a Formula One driver, and I do feel closer than I've ever felt before.
We're so delighted that Jamie has joined our driving academy. Her approach, her ambition is everything that I really like to see in the drivers that we have here at Williams. Whether we see her in F1 will all depend on the pathway that she has over the next couple of years, because an F1 team is not going to look at her and go, I want to tick the box and have a female in my driver lineup. They're only going to look at Jamie or any other female driver based on their talent.
The level of detail that these F1 teams sort of work in shouldn't be underestimated. There is definitely a whole host of talented female racing drivers out there that are just undiscovered, and if me sort of encourages that and inspires that, then that's obviously a great thing.
For Jamie and her compatriots, the venue for race 6 is one of Britain's best-known circuits, Brands Hatch. Here, as at any race, the spotlight is on the drivers. But off the track, the founder of W Series has lived and breathed every moment along with them, and now gets to see her ambitious dream reach its climax.
Catherine.
Catherine, oh God, what am I allowed to say? Catherine is a lunatic.
For an old bird, she's crazy.
She is always loving life. She gave us like her heart.
She knows about your personal journey, what you're going through. She's paying attention, and she wants everybody to do well.
The run-up to Brands was absolute mayhem. We got the feeling that there was going to be a big audience there just because of the press attention that we were getting. It had this great sense of occasion.
Ma chi è quella? Megan? No.
I think that person looks great, so
do you?
I'll go with it.
I think you look a lot better in real life.
So do I? Oh, from side on, I have got a double chin. Don't get that on camera.
Behind the scenes, the hard work isn't over yet, as the W Series chairman prepares to spend his weekend securing the money to protect the future of the championship.
Probably make or break for next season. Yeah, if we don't, we've got potential investors and potential sponsors coming. If we don't convert some of those or get them excited, then it's not a good sign. Yeah.
Expect to see an instant.
With only the top 12 drivers guaranteed a seat for next year, there's a different kind of pressure this weekend for Caitlin Wood, Gosia Radest, Sabra Cook and Jess Hawkins, the four who occupy the perilous places either side of the crucial cut-off zone.
I needed to finish in front of Sabra and Gosia, who were right behind me in the championship by 1 point.
I needed to be in front of some of the drivers. Jessica Hawkins, Caitlin Wood, and Sabra Cook.
I was 13th in points. I knew I needed to score 1 to 2 points in order to make it into the top 12 and be safe for next season.
It was really stressful, actually. I was 14th in the championship. I think I had to finish 7th or higher.
And that still might not be enough, depending on how her closest rivals do. Beyond the super cool exterior, Jess's biggest battle so far has been with her nerves, faltering during qualifying in the first 3 races.
When qualifying came up, I started to think, right, it really matters now, like I need to deliver. I just think I've just put too much pressure on myself, too much pressure. And I'm the first to criticise myself if I'm not fast enough or if there's anything going wrong. Even if it's not my fault, I'm the first to criticise. I'm so hard on myself and it probably goes against me sometimes, but
Pointless at the season's halfway mark, Jess had to do something.
someone put me in contact with a known sports psychologist. I think I phoned him about a week before Norris Ring. And we started working together then, and going by the results before and the results after, he made a big difference. And then I started to worry that there was only 2 rounds left, and I had a tall order to get in that top 12. Assen, finally some points, so super happy after that. All right, I still wasn't in the top 12, but I had my home race coming up, and I was confident that I could get some more points in, and trying to work out in my head where I was and what I needed to do in the next one.
The home track should give Jess an advantage, but other drivers need to do more homework.
We were talking about the Brits and how much of a home advantage they have, so Alice and I are doing the track walk together,
Yeah,
so I
she's
can
coming along.
Steal some of that knowledge.
One of the early contenders until blameless mishaps in 2 races, Alice Powell is desperate to finish the season on a high.
Brands Hatch was one I was really looking forward to. You know, home crowd. I knew it was going to be a really big event. There's going to be quite a few people coming to watch.
We're on a straight. It's long, it's flat out. Don't hit the bridge. It's quite low. Honestly, you might hit your head when you walk under it.
Free practice and true to form, the British weather provides ever-changing conditions. No problem for some.
I like the track, it's fast, so it suits my driving style, and I'm really hoping to win. That's my aim, as always.
But not helpful to one of the title contenders, as Beitska's session is cruelly interrupted.
I came before the last corner, and the engine just switched off. So I was lucky to have them down and managed to get to the pit lane. We had some work to do now. It is quite frustrating, but this is the track I don't really know.
And Beitska is not the only one feeling the strain.
Not satisfied enough, you know? Definitely not.
The pressure is on for Gosia, who's endured a topsy-turvy season. Valuable early points in race 1 were followed by an unfortunate early exit in Zolder. Pointless for the next 2 races, a top 6 finish last time in Assen has revived her fortunes, but she's still far from safe.
There you can see small Gosia doing karting. When I found out that motorsport can be not only the passion, but the way of life, I started to follow it. And this is sort of my kingdom and my glory room. 2018 was very special for me. It was first year for me in GT. I was competing in GT4 European Series. We had the win at Hungaroring, also at Nürburgring. I was P3 in Misano. In addition to the racing, I am also hosting a TV show in Poland. I'm co-host there. We're showing premieres of the new cars, but my favorite segment is when I'm driving a normal road car, but on a racetrack. It's so special because we're inviting guests that are Polish popular people, stars, actors, singers, and I'm giving them a drive. And there are, you know, really massive emotions with that. As my parents were quite busy people and they were working like almost all of the time, so the person who was sitting with me at home was my great-grandmother. She's now 100 years old.
Czy jesteś ze mnie dumna i jak bardzo?
Jestem bardzo, bardzo dumna z ciebie.
Tak?
Tak.
I cieszysz się?
Cieszę się i kocham cię za to na życie.
Piąteczka.
Sunday, race day. The crowds arrive in their thousands, but Sean's priorities are two specific visitors.
I was more nervous today than I was at any other time. I actually felt physically sick this morning. It's a make-or-break weekend for the W Series, and if we don't get some sponsors over the line and we don't get some investment, there's no Chapter 2. So far we've spent almost £15 million getting for the first year, and we need to raise another £10 million over the next sort of 2 or 3 months to get us into next year, and hopefully get 2 or 3 sponsors involved before Christmas. I've got 2 investors inside that could write a cheque for £10 million. Hopefully one of them's going to shake my hand and say he's going to do it.
In the paddock, Beitska knows the difference between finishing first and coming second is $250,000, and she can't afford any more hold-ups with the car.
It looks like everything is fixed, so I'm happy. In the end, it was a very small sentence.
Following Beitska and her rivals every step of the way, ex-Formula One driver David Coulthard, a guiding light on the W Series journey.
I used to get very nervous before qualifying, racing less so.
Yeah,
but
that's the one.
yeah.
Second round here is going to make the difference.
Yeah. Even on the black stuff. This is almost as important as when we did the initial selection process. Some people will not be back next year. You know, I think they've all done a fantastic job. They've moved the dial in the perception of women in motorsport. This is going to change how people enter the sport in the future. So, you know, there's a sense of pride and anticipation as we look up to this last qualifying session.
This qualifying session is underway. 25 minutes to see who will set the fastest time around this circuit.
Brands was a tricky race for everybody, really. It's a technical circuit. It's very difficult. It's a very difficult circuit to pass on. So it's always going to favour the drivers who have experienced the circuit before.
The world thinks it's all about Beitska and Jamie. I'm personally much more interested in the 12 because we've become like a family this year. I think it's going to be really tough.
I am in the knockout zone for the top 12 in the championship, so a good qualifying session puts you in a good position for the race.
The battle is on for pole. Jamie, Alice and Emma set the early pace, but there's an unexpected name breaking up the front runners.
A good lap from Esme Hawkey. She's a half a second off and moves Jamie Chadwick down to 4th.
Esme Hawkey was in 3rd place, but just goes to show you what local knowledge can do.
Well done. I've been trying so hard to do that. It's my home circuit and I've got nothing to lose, so I just absolutely went out there and just totally smashed it out the park.
Esme secures P3, whilst the midfield jostle for position.
Qualified 12th. Not a bad qualifying, but not my best.
You know, she's much better in the race than she is qualifying. So I feel good, and I think she's gonna do great. It's gonna have a tough battle. A lot of battles going on everywhere in the field right now for the points and overall standings.
Elsewhere, Jess controls her nerves to qualify in P9.
I'm in front of who I need to be in front of, but that's not enough. Like, I was much quicker than that yesterday. So it's just frustrating.
But Caitlin and Gosha have their work cut out. They'll start 13th and 14th and must finish inside the top 10 to score points. Meanwhile, at the front of the grid,
less than a tenth separating the top 2.
Let's see what Jamie Chadwick's got in her, and she takes pole position at 122.4.
Fantastic.
3/10 off Alice Powell's fastest lap.
Jamie did a superb job to get through to pole, but it wasn't easy for her. And Alice Powell has had a storming last couple of races, so she was right up there.
My pace in qualifying was pretty consistent and consistently quick, so I knew that the race I could have good pace.
I think she will try and get Jamie at the start. She will. Jamie's got more to lose, of course, so if it's close at the start and she has to give in at the first corner, I think she probably will, and Alice will take the lead and she will win.
I told Jamie, I said, watch out, JC, I'm coming.
For Beitska, a lack of track time has proved costly, and she's stuck on the third row.
Not the best qualifying. I knew there was more in it, but I knew I was missing the laps, and on a track like that, it really hurts if you don't have the experience.
Our championship leader is in pole position, and her main competitor, Visa, is down in 5th place.
I've not been that nervous since Hockenheim. Yeah, I was definitely feeling it.
The moment of truth. The final race, ready to start.
The first ever W Series champion will be crowned in just over half an hour's time.
I was busy out there, man.
Sean and Dave are watching from WHQ as Jamie and Alice make their way to the front row. Behind them, Esme and the winner of race 5, Emma, whilst Beitska, the only driver who can deny Jamie the title, starts 5th. For Beitska to win, she must take the checkered flag first, and for Jamie to finish off the podium.
The lights will go out. The final race of the season. Lights go out and we're racing, and it's a great start from Jamie Chadwick. There is a staller there as well.
Who is that?
That staller, I think, was Esme Hockey.
Her heart, she's just broke, hasn't it? I mean, that's horrific.
It's the first time I've ever stalled at a start, which it was not the time to do it, really. Could have been any other race and it would have been fine. Yeah, the emotions were all there when I did that.
Having better luck is Jess, who quickly moves from 9th to 7th, a points position that would vault her past Caitlin, Gosha and Sabra and into the top 12. Meanwhile, at the front, Alice chases Jamie.
That gap is closing now between Alice Powell and Jamie Chadwick and Emma Kimmelainen. Those three drivers are going to battle to the end.
Jamie Chadwick just needs to bring the car home. She doesn't need to be taking any big risks, but Kimmelainen has got the bit between her teeth.
I had Emma chasing hard behind me, so I just wanted to try and get through and make a break for it effectively.
Alice Powell is visibly closer as she pulls away actually from Emma Kimmelainen. She's moving, she's looking to see if she can do it.
Don't compromise our championship.
Alice Powell is through. Emma Kimmelainen's coming through too. They need to not touch. Jamie Chadwick needs to finish on the podium.
I think she threw a good move in. My initial thought was, no, I can cover this, I can get back past her, and actually I knew straight away it wasn't the right decision, and you see that I back out. It wasn't worth it. If I take my front wing off there, that would have been the championship.
Jamie's just driving defensively, I think.
Yeah, of course she is. All she needs to do is finish the race. A DNF is her worst nightmare. It costs her 250 grand.
Alice Powell leads now from Kimmelainen, from Jamie Chadwick, who's now under pressure from Beitska Visser, the only other person that can take the championship away from her.
That's Beitska with her now.
Oh!
Jamie should let her go. Just sit behind her. That's all she's got to do.
Jamie's got her.
We now know, and Visser knows, Chadwick's vulnerable. She's not taking any risks.
I mean, that was brave.
It is Jamie Chadwick, as it stands, that would still win the championship. Alice Powell leads here at Brands Hatch, 16 minutes left on the clock.
Further down the field, Sabra has fought her way from 12th to 9th, Caitlin in 11th, Gosha 3 places behind. Then a potential game changer. A mistake from Japan's Miki Koyama.
Safety car. Boom.
This is interesting now because it bunches the pack up. Chadwick and Visser will now be able to catch up onto the back of Kimmelainen and Powell.
I think after the safety car, the gap stayed about 7-8 tenths or something like that, and we kind of had a close race. She was pushing me really hard.
It's a great restart from Powell. She read it perfectly again. Her experience really coming through. Right, this is getting interesting as the clock ticks down.
With Alice in front, Beitska closes in on Jamie.
So they're still applying pressure, but Jamie has used her experience well.
Yep, she's had a win, a second place, a win, and 2 third place so far. She makes a bit of a mistake there, actually. And
She's
Visser
under
looks
pressure
in,
now.
And she's coming up the inside.
Oh, and
See
she
if Visser
squeezes
can take
Visser
it.
off the track,
Oh,
sorry.
Defending hard, but Visser's going to get a nose through, and she's past Jamie Chadwick.
Score.
She made a small mistake. She tried to make it difficult by putting me in the grass, but yeah, I made the move stick.
That was a good move.
That was a good move.
Absolutely brilliant racing. That's how you do it. Clean, hard, fair. I'm just mesmerised with the quality of the racing here.
If Beitska can make up 2 more places, she wins the championship. But time runs out.
And it's going to be Alice Powell who takes the win in W Series. The home hero takes her first win.
Yes! Thank you guys, thank you!
You know, it was a really, really good race, and I was just so relieved to win in front of the home crowd was just awesome.
It was a nice fight, and she drove amazingly good.
I was very happy about finishing third, considering all the problems we had the day before. I don't think I could have done more there.
All eyes now on Jamie Chadwick. She's going to cross the line. Here she is, our W Series champion.
I really wanted to win that race. Straight after the race, I was just a bit gutted with how that race went.
Jamie, it's Sean. Congratulations, well deserved.
As I came in and actually realised that I'd won, yeah, unbelievable feeling.
She did it. She won the first ever W Series championship.
Jamie is champion. Alice finally tops the podium ahead of Emma and Beitska. But it's the moment of truth for those fighting to make the top 12.
As I crossed the finish line, I didn't know the full standings. It was a rough feeling sort of waiting for that answer.
11th in the race means no points for Caitlin, whose fate now depends on where her nearest rivals finished.
We found out that I missed by 1 point, so yeah, that's motorsport. There's no other word for it. It's a tough game.
Gosha, who started inside the top 12, finishes behind Caitlin.
I was a bit upset because, yeah, through all of the season I was working hard for that, but that 2 races, which was Zolder and Norris Ring, where I could have finished well and I didn't, yeah, costed me the top 12 finish.
Jess and Sabra cross the line, still unsure of their final positions.
I didn't know. I didn't know when I crossed the line in 7th if I was through or not.
Did I make it or not?
Maybe. I'm just checking.
Did I make it or not?
I think you made it.
You're in? I don't know. I don't want to get too excited and then find out that I don't know. I honestly don't know. I thought I was, but I didn't want to get too excited too soon and then find out that I hadn't made it through. We're in. Dude, we did it. Me and Jess Hawkins both were extremely relieved, obviously, and just we couldn't have been happier because for us, like, having that guaranteed season next year is like huge weight off of our shoulders.
Sabra and Jess have scraped into the top 12 with 12 points each. At the top of the standings, Jamie's 110 points gives her the title and a cheque for $500,000. Celebration and reflection for the drivers and for those who put the series together.
I'm still convinced we'll get some investment. There's a lot of work to be done. I did feel proud when I looked outside there and there's, 600 or 700 people standing watching the screen with 20 women racing around the circuit. There's never been 20 women in single-seater motorsport in the last 30 years.
What we want is to promote more women in motorsport, give them an opportunity.
It's inspiring the next generation, and really, if that's all we do, then it's a brilliant thing.
We needed a first year of racing to really prove the concept, to show people what can be done. We've done that now.
Catherine is the woman behind the championship. She came up with the idea. I think we're all very thankful for her.
I think Brands Hatch was the perfect showcase. It showed what W Series, was becoming. People were delighted and joyful at seeing our drivers.
Everyone behind the scenes at W Series has worked so hard, and it has just been the most incredible year.
It's just this overwhelming enthusiasm for what W Series is and what we stand for.
It's just an unbelievable feeling to have that kind of actual title and an actual accolade.
You really can change things and make things happen, and that's a great privilege to be in that position.